real estate.
Yes.
I've already finished my English this year, so I have no more. Yeah, I'm glad I know those because I really stink at those.
Well, since it's just us, what I like to do is start with, since you had 3, 4, and 6 on the midterm, you already have something to kind of study for that. So when you start backwards, go like with chapter 9 and go backwards,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll get to that other stuff. You know, now I can answer any questions you have, or if there's a chapter that you have troubles with, we can spend more time on that since it's just us.
9 I didn't really have any trouble with. The only thing on 9 I had trouble with was
9-7.
yeah, because I didn't do
And
that
there's
one.
none of 9-7 on the final, I'll tell you that. Did you hear that? There's none of 9-7 on the final. Yeah, 9-7, and I come this close to deleting that section for everybody, but I went in there and looked, and everybody had already, the majority of the class had.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
So, but anyway, it is a tough section. And it's one of those things that they took out of our book, and who knows who put it in appendices.
Mm-hmm.
But none of that is on the midterm. So I can explain it to you, but since it's not on there, we probably would better spend time working on things it's going to be on the midterm or on the final, right? So, for chapter 9, what we can do is, I kind of like to go through, maybe go to the chapter test,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll kind of answer some questions through there, and I can kind of point out some things. So in chapter 9, you learned the square root property. So if we had, and I'm just going to put problems on the board, and you can write them down, and we'll do them together. How about that? Okay. So if we had x minus 3 squared equals 12. So how do we start with that? We just take the square root of both sides, right?
Yeah.
We take the square root of both sides, and then we have x minus 3 equals, and this is something that you don't want to forget is the plus and minus.
Yeah.
So if we take the square root of 12, we have 4 times 3, so I can take out a 2, and I'd have the square root of 3. And then I add my 3 to the other side. And x is going to equal 3 plus or minus 2, the square root of 3. Okay. How about one like number 6? Do you have your book? Yeah. Number 6. We got x plus 2 and x plus, x minus 1. Equals 6. Okay?
You have to factor it out, right?
Yeah, we'd have to factor it out, or multiply it out, or however you do it, full, FLIO, or whatever. So you'd have x squared, most students do full, minus 2 equals 6. So we'd have x squared plus x minus 2 equals 6. And then subtract 6. Because if it tells me that I think there's another sum on the test, like you will have to, maybe. It's one of those days, thank you very much. But this says solve the following quadratic equation. So like this one was set up to me to use a square root property.
Mm-hmm.
If I can use, I like the quadratic formula because I know it and you can plug the word.
Yeah, it's easy.
And it's easy, right? So your quadratic formula would be negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And in my senior class, if you type in quadratic formula songs on YouTube, oh my goodness. You get country ones, you get rap ones. It is funny. So we're going to have a equals 1, b equals 1, and c equals negative 8. So we have negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 squared minus 4ac over 2 times 1, which will give us negative 1 plus or minus 1 would be 33, right? Over 2.
And that's the answer, isn't
And
it?
that's it? Okay. Oh, that's correct, I think. My camera only goes to about right there. I have little errors to try to figure out where it goes on the board. But that answer might not be in there, so let me put it over here. Plus or minus the square root of 33 over 2. Alright? So you good with those?
Yeah.
Okay. Complex numbers. You remember in chapter 8 when we had, in chapter 8, if I gave you something like that, you said it was not a real number.
Yeah, and now it's the eyes.
Right. Very good. So it's now 3i.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because we would have I equals the square root of -1, and I squared equals -1. So anytime we see a I squared, we want to replace it with -1. Let's see if I can find one of those. So like number 9, that was number 9. The square root of -9 would be 3i. How about, to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, how about like number 18? Where you have 2 plus I over 2 minus I. And in chapter 8, because there's a lot of places that things are kind of similar. In chapter 8, when we had to rationalize the denominator to get the radicals out of the denominator, basically you put whatever it was and you change the sign. So if it was a plus, you made it a minus.
Mm-hmm.
You could do the same thing with i's.
Yeah.
So you would just have 2 plus I and 2 plus I. And then we would multiply it out. And we have 4 plus 2i plus 2i plus I squared over 4 minus I squared. So we'd end up with 4 plus 2i. 4i, yep. 4i minus 1. Because I'm going to go ahead and put that -1 there. And then we'd have 4 minus 1. So we'd end up with 3 plus 4i over 5.
Okay, so I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
In the quizzes and the labs, sometimes I put the 3 behind the 4i.
I would count that wrong.
Okay, in the quiz it did. Some of the quizzes it did. Like on the labs and stuff online, it did count it wrong. And I couldn't figure out why, and I clicked on the solution, and it said, it didn't say anything, but it showed the number in front.
And it shows that at the beginning, when you talk about i's, I think it's on page, if you could go back and look and tell me which ones it is, or which ones on your quizzes, I could go in and give you credit for it.
I'll have to look, because I don't remember which labs was that one.
These were 3, this was 9-4 and 9-5.
Okay.
So if you'll go back in and look at those, and just send me an email with ones that they counted wrong because you flipped that, I'll give you credit for it.
Okay.
Alright. So you're good with the i's complex?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the next one was complex solutions for complex solutions to quadratic equations. So if we had something that came out with if you used the quadratic formula like we just used and you came out with a negative under it, you would know to pull the I out. Do you want me to do one of those or you go with
No,
that?
I'm fine with it.
Okay. How about one with fractions though? Like I'm on page 671. Say like number 34, 33, 34. Would you be okay? Because if you have a fraction, I would encourage you just to multiply through by the common denominator and get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Can we do one of those?
sure. Let's try number, we'll do 33.